Cleveland cleared a corner of the QB room this week, and the moves matter more than the noise. Joe Flacco was traded to Cincinnati, a clean roster cut that bought the Browns a 2026 fifth-round pick and removed the veteran safety valve behind Dillon Gabriel. Clevelandbrowns.com. What followed was procedural but consequential. Kevin Stefanski formally named Shedeur Sanders the backup for Week 6. That decision ends the immediate speculation about elevating practice squad veteran Bailey Zappe and makes Sanders the active number 2 on game days, warm-ups, sideline reps, and the real chance to be thrust into meaningful action if Gabriel falters or gets hurt. Clevelandbrowns.com. This is development over optics. Flacco's exit signals the Browns are moving away from temporary veteran band-aids and leaning into the young quarterback options on the roster. For the coaching staff, that means an honest trade-off. You accelerate a rookie's learning curve by making him active, but you also accept greater short-term exposure if the starter struggles and the game plan doesn't fit the backup's strengths. That's exactly the tension Cleveland accepted when it made the trade. Clevelandbrowns.com. Dillon Gabriel's brief look as a starter has been tidy. 3 touchdown passes and no interceptions in limited action, with completion numbers that show both promise and room to grow. The staff's posture, giving him the job and naming Sanders the backup, is a clear vote of confidence in Gabriel as the short-term solution and in the roster's internal development path. ESPN.com. For Shedeur, the promotion is the most useful kind, practical and incremental. Being QB2 means live rep exposure that accelerates decision-making, cadence recognition, and pre-snap processing in a way that practice can't replicate. It also raises public scrutiny. Every Gabriel hiccup becomes fodder for, why isn't Shedeur starting? But the realistic pathway for a rookie is this exact sequence. Learn the plan, get in-game warmth, execute controlled packages when called upon. Dogs by nature. There are real constraints, though. The Browns' move doesn't change the Watson question. Deshaun Watson remains a medical and legal uncertainty, rehabbing a second Achilles rupture and still tied to pending litigation, which makes a Watson-centric roster plan risky. The club's pivot toward youth is therefore pragmatic. They need answers now, not hypotheticals. Sports.yahoo.com. Operationally, how the Browns handle this week shows whether the promotion is substantive or symbolic. If the staff scripts low-variance packages for Sanders in practice and clearly design contingency plays that fit his strengths, the move is smart risk management. If Sanders is simply activated while the playbook stays built for Gabriel, the team risks schematic mismatch if he's forced in during a critical moment. Coaches should treat any in-game snaps as data, limited, protective, and designed to grow confidence rather than escalate risk. Clevelandbrowns.com. For the franchise, the upside is obvious. Clarity. Roster decisions now produce clearer coaching reps, roster accountability, and a path for internal evaluation before trade deadline actions are required. For Gabriel, it's a runway. For Sanders, it's a real developmental cadence. For fans, it's noisy and emotional. But the football logic is sound. Find out what your young players can do in live settings before the market forces you into a panic move. Clevelandbrowns.com. This week's test will be simple to read. Did Cleveland prepare Sanders to be functional if needed, or did they merely change the roster without changing the game plan? The answer will tell you whether the Browns added depth or just created headlines. Either way, trading Flacco and naming Sanders QB2 is a clear organizational shift, one toward youth, evaluation, and the uncomfortable work of discovering whether the future lives in-house or still needs to be bought. Clevelandbrowns.com.